I'm Steve Wilkerson, and I'm with Jim Saunders, Executive Editor of the News Service of Florida. Jim, there's talk of a surplus, revenues coming in more than expenses, and Governor Scott is moving around the state. He's asking people, if I cut $500 million out of the budget in terms of taxes, what do you want me to cut? Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, he's going to 5 cities this week, and he's going to be, like you said, it's supposedly a listening tour of where where the state should cut taxes next year. He's saying he doesn't really have a plan, but I'm not sure he doesn't have a few things in mind. But he says he wants to listen to people and see how he can give some money back to them. There is a surplus. They're projecting about an $800 million surplus, a little bit more than that for next year, which gives them a little bit of a, buffer to be able to do this. But I tend to think in an election year he probably would be looking to cut taxes anyway. So
you're being cynical.
Maybe.
Well, it was a year ago that he went around and had a different kind of tour to a different constituency, right?
Yeah, it was almost exactly a year. He went around and did a similar tour of schools, and then he really used that as sort of a springboard to, really pitch the idea of increasing teacher pay, and he did it very successfully. I mean, he walked that all the way through the legislative session. Got teacher pay increases, and let's face it, I mean, from a political standpoint, cutting taxes and raising teachers' pay are two pretty popular things to do. Not many people argue with them. So.
Well, speaking about unpopular things or popular things, back in 2009, in Florida, vehicle registration fees went way up, and people didn't like it then. They still don't like these high fees. Changes are being considered. What's up?
Yeah, the Senate made a proposal this during the 2013 legislative session to reduce these fees by $230 million, and it wound up dying because the way the Senate was going to pay for it was that it wanted to get rid of a tax break on the insurance industry, and the insurance industry has a lot of clout, and they got it killed, but. Now that the governor's talking about reducing taxes and fees, the Senate is already making plans to make another push on this and to make it part of the governor's package. So we're talking maybe $220 million, roughly $220, $230. And, for everybody who goes in and registers their car, it would be a break. Also for small businesses that have fleets of vehicles, it's a savings to them. So it's probably something that'd be very popular if the legislature would do it. And again, in a political year, it's something that they could campaign on. The other political angle of this thing is that, in 2009, Charlie Crist was governor.
I was going to ask you about that.
And so these increases came in during a really rough budget time. Governor Crist and legislators were looking for anywhere they could to find money. But you can be sure that if Governor Scott could hang that one around Charlie Crist's neck, he will, assuming that Charlie Crist runs as a Democrat for governor next year, which everybody thinks he's going to. So.
Well, the combination of anticipated budget surplus plus an election will make the 2014 session interesting. And there have been some discussions about other ways to spend money. Some things beginning to pop up already. Can you bring us up to date on those?
Yeah, I mean, there's already rumblings about, on the spending side, there's always going to be pressure to spend more on schools, for instance. And but on the tax cut side of things, they're talking about the governor has made an effort to reduce corporate income taxes, and he's done it sort of in an incremental manner, trying to exempt small businesses and then kind of build that up. So there's talk about trying to continue that, give another corporate income tax break. The communication services tax, which is something that's on, mobile phone bills, cable bills, so on, very complicated, but, there's a lot of talk about trying to reduce that tax, which would, people on their monthly bills would see a reduction, so it'd be something they'd notice. There's another issue in the business community of sales taxes on leases of real estate, and so there's talk about trying to reduce that. So it's early. It's only September, and the legislative session doesn't start till March. But I think the governor's talk about all these tax cuts has kind of got a lot of people thinking about it.
Thank you, Jim. For more news about Florida politics and government, visit the Advances section of our website.